On the Origin of Species, a suspenseful retelling, the storm before the revelation. Imagine standing in 1859 England. The world is certain of one thing. God created every living creature as it is, fixed and perfect. Species do not change. They do not vanish except by God's will. The Bible is the map of truth, and nature is its illustration. Into this world walks Charles Darwin, a quiet man, a man of fragile health, but with a mind sharper than a blade. He has a secret locked in his study, a secret so powerful that it could shake the foundations of faith, science, and society. For 20 years, Darwin has been gathering evidence, filling notebooks with sketches, observations, and questions. He delays publishing, not because he doubts the truth of what he has found, but because he fears its impact. What if the world rejects me? What if they call me a heretic? Yet, as he paces in his study, he knows one thing: the truth cannot be hidden forever. And so begins the book that would change everything. On the Origin of Species, the Voyage of the Beagle, Seeds of a Revolution. Long before the book, there was a journey. In 1831, a young Darwin boards the ship HMS Beagle for a 5-year voyage around the world. He is not yet the man who will challenge creation itself. He is merely a curious naturalist, eager to see new lands. But as the Beagle sails, mysteries unfold before his eyes. In South America, he sees giant fossils of extinct animals buried beneath the soil. Creatures like armadillos, but far larger. Why did they vanish? If God created them perfectly, why did he let them disappear? In the Galapagos Islands, he notices that each island has its own unique species of finches. Their beaks are different. Some sharp for insects, some broad for seeds. But why would God create a slightly different bird for each island? Wouldn't one perfect finch be enough? The questions haunt him. Nature is whispering a secret, and Darwin begins to listen. The mystery of life. Back in England, Darwin studies pigeons, barnacles, and earthworms. He observes farmers breeding animals for traits they desire: faster horses, fatter sheep, better hunting dogs. He realizes, if humans can shape animals by choosing which ones breed, then nature must do something similar. But with no farmer, no hand, no design. This thought is terrifying. It suggests that life is not fixed, that species change, that new species arise from old ones. But how? What force drives this endless transformation? Darwin writes and rewrites, sketches, diagrams, covers his pages with questions. Suspense grows within him like a storm. He is on the verge of unlocking the mechanism: natural selection. The dangerous idea. At last, Darwin sees the truth. Life is a struggle. Every creature is born into a battlefield. More individuals are produced than can survive. The world is not generous, it is harsh. Food is limited, predators hunt, climates change. In this brutal arena, only some survive. But survival is not random. Those with traits that fit the environment live long enough to pass them to the next generation. Those without perish. Darwin calls this force natural selection. It is breathtakingly simple. It is merciless. And it is everywhere. A giraffe with a slightly longer neck reaches higher leaves. A moth whose color blends with bark escapes a predator's eye. A wolf with sharper teeth brings more food to its young. Generation after generation, the successful traits spread, while the weak vanish. Slowly, invisibly, species change. Over vast ages, new species are born. Darwin realizes what this means. All life is connected. From the smallest worm to the tallest tree, from the fish in the sea to the human reading these words. We are all threads in a single endless web. This is not just science. This is a new Genesis, written not in scripture but in stone, bone, and blood. The tree of life. A dangerous drawing. Darwin takes up his pencil and sketches a simple diagram. A branching tree. At the base, a common ancestor. From it, branches spread, split, and fork endlessly. Some end in dead twigs, extinction. Others spread wide, flourishing into new forms. Above the sketch, Darwin writes two words that capture the heart of his discovery. I think. This is the tree of life. It is not designed by a creator's hand, but carved by time, chance, and struggle. The suspense is unbearable. If this is true, then humans are not divine creations standing apart. We too are branches on this tree. We too are the product of natural selection. Darwin knows this idea could shatter beliefs, provoke fury, and make him a target. Yet he also knows it is the truth, the struggle in Darwin's soul. For 20 years, Darwin hesitates. He refines his theory, amasses evidence, writes drafts, and locks them away. The world is not ready. Perhaps he is not ready. Then, in 1858, a letter arrives. A young naturalist named Alfred Russel Wallace has independently discovered the same principle of natural selection. Darwin's heart races. If I stay silent, history will forget me. If I speak, the world may destroy me. He has no choice. He gathers his notes, his evidence, his arguments, and in 1859, he publishes On the Origin of Species, the book that shook the world. The book does not read like thunder, but like quiet lightning. Page after page, Darwin piles fact upon fact. Fossils, pigeons, orchids, insects, islands. He does not shout his conclusions. He lets the reader feel the inevitable weight of evidence. His suspenseful strategy works. Readers cannot escape the logic. The world is stunned. Some react with outrage, others with awe. One clergyman exclaims, "Let us hope it is not true." But if it is true, let us hope it does not become widely known. But it is too late. The idea is loose, alive, unstoppable, the emotional core of the origin. What makes On the Origin of Species so powerful is not only the science, but the emotion behind it. Darwin was not cold or cruel. He was deeply sensitive. He saw the beauty in worms turning soil, in orchids tricking bees, in the endless creativity of life. He knew his theory described struggle and death, but he also saw in it a kind of grandeur. Life, blind and unguided, had sculpted wings, eyes, coral reefs, forests, and human minds capable of wonder. In the final lines of the book, he writes with a trembling pen, "There is grandeur in this view of life. From so simple a beginning, endless forms, most beautiful and most wonderful, have been and are being evolved." It is both a scientific truth and a poetic vision. Suspense, legacy, and triumph. The suspense of Darwin's book is not in its pages, but in its impact. Would society reject him? Would his name be cursed? What happened was more complex. Many attacked him, some mocked him, but others embraced him. Scientists began to build upon his theory, adding new layers, new discoveries. Over time, the truth of natural selection became undeniable. Today, Darwin is remembered not as a destroyer, but as a revealer. He gave us a story greater than any myth, the story of life itself. the suspense of his struggle, the fear of rejection, the courage to publish. All of it is part of the legacy of On the Origin of Species. Why it still matters. Even now, more than 160 years later, Darwin's book remains alive. It asks us to see ourselves not as masters of nature, but as part of it. It challenges us to embrace change, struggle, and survival as the engines of beauty. It invites us into a universe not controlled by destiny, but shaped by countless small victories across millions of years. And above all, it whispers the truth Darwin carried in his heart. We are all connected by threads of ancestry, by the slow dance of evolution, by the grandeur of life itself.